We used to have these like 1/3 pint bottles of milk back in those days. This is like prior to the days of when Maggie Thatcher was education minister, Maggie the milk snatcher. Me and Bratz were the kids that would count the bottles of milk as it came in the morning. And Bratz affected this American accent, you see, to be cool while he was counting. He went 1-a, 2-a, 3-a, 4-a when he was counting. I think it was an American accent. It might have been, he might have got it from wrestling where they went 1-a, 2-a, 3-a, 4-a. He might have picked it up from wrestling, I'm not sure. But yeah, these bottles of milk on a cold day, you see, you get this like that much of a column of frozen milk would pop up, and then there'd be sort of the foil lid there on each of the bottles. And I think you put them on the radiators to warm them up. And yeah, I went to this primary school. I don't think they ever sent us home on a cold day, not ever. And outside the old school building, you go up a bit and there was this building which was the toilet, so it was like outdoor toilets with wooden seats and this sort of Isle toilet paper that you know, well, like it's tracing paper, you know, you wouldn't want to wipe your bum on it, but you could trace things, you know, you could forge signatures with it. If you wanted to escape from a prisoner of war camp, you could you could fake the commandant's signature perhaps using this Isle toilet paper. But yeah, and then these are all outside, and then there's this big wall which was the urinal in the boys' toilets, which is all painted black, and the little boys, you know, they really strain on their willies to propel the jet of urine up the wall, like to see who could pee the highest. And on a good day, and the wind's behind you, you know, you can pee over the wall, and then kids walking past, they sort of get this sort of gentle rain sort of pouring down on them. But during the cold time, it would be probably 1964 or something, the whole sort of the whole surroundings of the school would just be iced over, and the kids would make it all into slides. And I don't know whether much was actually done to in the way of health and safety then to restrict the sliding behaviour. So I'd be about 7, and like the bigger kids be like Martin Allen and Billy Swindle and his mates. They'd build this ice house around the school toilets, and it wasn't like an igloo, it was like square walls and about this thick with ice, and that lasted about a week. It was really cold that winter. So how'd you get to be the milk monitor, eh? What you have to do is at the start of the term, the teacher, in this case Mrs. Walker, would say, who wants to be the milk monitor? And everybody go, oh, me miss, me miss, me miss. And all the kids would sort of jockey for position as a monitor of this and that. And so me and Bratz, I think we must have been outstanding at something or other. So we got to be the milk monitors. We had this sort of paste, sort of a gluey paste. It was like sort of wallpaper paste that you used for like craft projects at school. And that was kept in a cupboard with all these old books, like the school books. One of the books was called Shag the Caribou, I remember that. About this caribou. What do you call them? I think they're called moose. Is a caribou a kind of moose? This was called Shag the Caribou. Shag from the caribou, don't actually shag the caribou. Shag was the name of the caribou in this cupboard. And then there was another book which told you how to cook a hedgehog, I remember. You get a hedgehog, a dead hedgehog I suppose, and you have to wrap it up in clay when you cook it. I would never eat a hedgehog. Even at that age I would never eat a hedgehog. I think I was still a bit of a vegetarian back then. But I think this is what gypsies were supposed to do. Gypsies were supposed to eat hedgehogs. This is sort of part of the rural law. Say this is a pot of paste. There'd be little black bits of mouse shit in there, and one of the monitors had the job of picking the mouse turds out of this paste. And then another job was to be a sick boy. Oh, me, who wants to be a sick boy? Me, miss. And the sick boys, they get this. They'd have this bucket of sawdust and a shovel. These two boys, and if anybody would have a sick on this kind of parquet floor, on this wooden flooring, these two boys would have to come and clean up the sick. But inevitably, the two boys that were picked, I'm not sure who it was, they've probably been drinking this milk that had sort of gone off with being reheated from being frozen and refrozen. But whenever they saw the sick, they were sick as well. So then somebody else would have to clear their sick up. I think it was a teacher cleaned up their sick. Yeah. Walking past those toilets where the little boys would pee over, and there'd be this little golden shower just above there, at the corner of the playground of this primary school I used to go to when I was age 5 to age 11 or so. In the corner there, there's a wall where you could just about climb over the wall, because there's a secondary school up there called Pursglove Secondary Modern School. My mother taught there for a while. But to prevent you climbing over there was broken glass embedded along the top of this little wall. It's like this high to a kid when you got into the corner, and there was all this broken glass there. Health and safety. It didn't have health and safety back in those days, but what they did have was they had these choir contests. So even though I'd failed the audition to be the lead vocalist in Tideswell Church of England primary school choir, I think the job went to Howard Lithgow. It might have gone to Mark Lithgow. Nigel Willis might have got it. I'm not sure who got the lead vocalist position there, but it wasn't me. But we had this song, and if I've got this right, it was written by L. Dugard Peach, who actually wrote these Ladybird books, which were these little books of history and this and that and the other, that these picture books that were sort of classics of the era really. You'd learnt everything from a Ladybird book and all the Ladybird history. He used to write that, and he lived about 4 or 5 miles away in this little village called Hucklow, where he I think he ran or wrote for the amateur dramatics group in Great Hucklow. So Eldegard Peach, he wrote this song that they used in this choir competition. Some poor fellows, they live in the town where the grimy smuts come tumbling down. Here in the country the gentle rain washes us clean and fresh again. I've got the tune a bit wrong, but I was thinking of these golden showers coming over from the boys' toilets. So we did this song in this competition in Buxton, in the Pavilion Gardens in Buxton, and against all these other little school choirs. We actually came last in the competition, but the teacher, Hedgehog, he said, "You did very, very well." I don't think they didn't say, they didn't mention that we'd come last in it, but we heard them come last in it. But the teacher said, "You've done very, very well, Hedgehog."